What up? It's your boy, Nick Incredible Man. Yes, I am back at it again, and this is New Amsterdam Season 3, Episode 5. And this episode was a little different. It focused heavily on the patients this week, man. And that's nice. Let's get into it. This week's episode was a little different. It started with Iggy being in a different place, man. Like he was taking his clothes off. He felt a little embarrassed. You can see like the expression on his face, and I was wondering what Iggy was doing, and we found out he was getting weighed, and like they were pulling on his skin and measuring it and everything, and we find out that's the doctor he goes to, and helps him with his problems and stuff. And we learned that there's more than just him overeating. It's more so about like his body like not letting him know when he's really full, and it doesn't really work that well when he's full. So we see that there's underlying problems with Iggy, more so than just him overeating. But also at the same time, we see that the doctor telling him that, Iggy, it'll help if you go to the meetings and talk with these people, because he started to go in episode 4, but like right there in that moment he just decided not to at the very end. And she was like, well, and then he tells her like, yeah, I've been going, they've been helping and they've been fantastic. And she was like, well, I know you're lying because we can monitor and check and see when people sign in and log on. And he was like, oh, okay. But what I find funny is because Iggy lying to his doctor also leads to the first story about the patient and everything, about Iggy having similarities with his very first patient of this episode. The funny thing is because Iggy lying to his doctor also happens to be like the similar thing between him and his patient this week, because this patient is also lying to Iggy because this week Iggy is meeting with the veterans, and he brought this dude to join the veterans little meeting and everything. And just so happened, this dude claims to be a veteran, and he's telling this wonderful story, because I bought into it for a minute at first, I'll be honest. And then like the lady that's sitting next to him was like, okay, cool, yeah. And then like as soon as he finished, she just decked him, man. She was like, because he's lying, he's a faker. And the dude was like, oh my gosh, you knew you were lying, man. Let's be 100%. You knew you were lying. And Iggy was shocked because now he has to earn the veterans' trust again, because he broke it when he brought this dude in here that wasn't a veteran. And we learned that the dude lied because, oh my gosh, his story, man. He was smoking a cigarette and somehow the house caught on fire and he killed his entire family. And sure, that's a traumatic experience and that would lead someone to want to lie. But Iggy is trying to help him through that situation. But the similarities is so crazy because Iggy was lying at the beginning of this episode, and he's constantly lying to himself because he won't actually get the help that he needs. And this patient was lying this episode, and you can see the similarities. But by the end of the episode, Iggy fully helped the patient, and it also allowed him to actually call the number on the card that that his doctor gave him. So not only did Iggy helping his patient, no, not did Iggy only help his patient, but helping his patient, he helped himself in the same way. So I like the way that played out. Now let's talk about SHARPE. Oh, because oh my gosh, this episode was legit when it came to SHARPE, man. Because we see that SHARPE has a patient that's, I feel like, dealing with a little bit of colorism, if you will, because we find out that New Amsterdam is running out of blood. That's just what it is. Like they have like 2 pints left, and boom, bam comes in these accident car patients, and it's a mother-daughter duo, and the daughter needs those 2 pints of blood, and Cashian is going to take those 2 pints to help her. And we see that SHARPE is going to run her mother's blood because they don't have any to, give it to her in the surgery, and she finds out that their DNA is not matching. So long story short, we see that the mother, after a while, we see that SHARPE gets the mother's DNA through a biopsy, and we find out that the mother had a fraternal twin that she kind of absorbed in the embryo, but her DNA kind of stuck with the mother. So when she had children, the egg came from her sister, and that's how her daughter came out with a darker complexion. Now, her mother and her family never really judged her on her complexion, but the daughter always felt like an outcast in her own family because she was a little bit darker and she looked a little different. And the sad thing is because that's an everyday thing for her, but it's also a true thing in like actual real life. Now, I don't face that kind of problem, or I don't think I colorized anybody, but because I feel like I'm a in between mix. You know, like before you get too light skinned, before you get too dark, I'm like an in between. And the sad thing is because people tend to look at darker black people with a little disdain compared to someone like my complexion or someone of a lighter complexion, and that's a sad reality. But it's just hard, man. I mean, because it's a real thing, and I love that New Amsterdam showcased that, and like they didn't just beat you over the head with it. They put it out there and let you know that what it was and what was going on, and they handled it in a nice way. The mother never felt that way, and you know the family never looked at her like that way, but the girl felt that type of way, whether it came from school or just society itself. Excuse me, she felt that type of way, but New Amsterdam showcased it in a wonderful way to where it didn't feel like, you know, it was actually happening, or you know, or they were beating you over the head with it. They just put it out there, let you know what it was, what was going on, and they kind of put like the colorism out there for knowledge purposes if you didn't know what colorism was or understood it. Then we also have, well, that's not even the only part with Sharp, man. We also see that her and Cassian are kissing, and Max is still running around trying to get blood because New Amsterdam is completely out of blood. So he's starting a blood drive. So he's working with Sandra Fall, I want to say, from accounting. You guys remember her? She's becoming his new executive assistant, and she's like, "Well, what happened to the others? Well, Dora quit, and the other one got fired. No, the other one died. What? Well, not from the job, just natural causes." But she's Max's new executive assistant, and she's helping him set up the blood drive. So Max gets this whole idea to invite people to a blood drive with all this wonderful, luxurious stuff. Catered food from a Michelin star restaurant, Broadway singers, puppies for the children, and none of that works. But he has this wonderful idea, and he wanted to run it by Sharp. But he goes into her office without knocking, and he sees her and Cassian kissing. And when he does, Max is just loses all of his train of thought. He forgot everything that he was coming in there to say. He couldn't remember nothing. And we also see him now struggling because no one actually wants to come in for the blood drive. And we see him talking to this lady and learning that, you know, people have been just out. Well, this one particular lady has been out marching, donating food, taking care of her kids, taking care of her sick father. And she's done giving stuff that, you know, for anybody else. Like, she's tired of helping people if she can. That's basically what she was saying. But now I'm going to be 100%. Nobody made you stand up and help for all those causes. They were the right things to do, but nobody made you do it. But, you know, nobody's making you give blood either. So, I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But I feel like giving blood is the right thing to do, man. I mean, you never know. You may never ever get that specific blood, but you may never know how it may help someone close to you or a family member. You never know. So giving blood could always help. But Max learns that, you know, people are tired of giving, but those people that he invited there for, you know, people that was in off the streets, they decided to give at the end of the episode, and Max had a breakdown. Max was just done. He didn't want to hear anything about it anymore. He was a little devastated because normally his ideas eventually kind of pay off, but this time Max's ideas kind of fell flat and nobody was really biting, and he felt a little weird. But like, all of those people kind of saw Max's determination and the effort that he put in, and they decided to donate, and Sandra helped them people donate it. So it was a nice moment for Max. But now we know that he feels some type of way that her and Cassian are dating. So we see them at the end having a nice little chat at the table, and he was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me that you and Cassian are dating?" She was like, "Well, I didn't feel like it was none of your business because you were dating someone at the end of last year and you never told me." He was like, "Well, I was, and we know what he was going to say. I feel like he was definitely going to say, "Well, I was trying to protect your feelings," because he didn't know how it was going to go. And we know how it went. And we know the moment that he, broke up with old girl. Was it Alice? I think it was Alice. And he was rushing there to see Sharp. Like, there's a whole bunch of things. They keep missing each other. But now we know that how they both feel for each other, because this episode, while they were sitting at the table, they were looking at each other intensely, and they both had these moments where they kind of just, and they never said anything. They never say anything. It's always, but or they just walk off into the lonely hallway. They never say anything to each other, but there is hope because this episode solidified that there's hope for Max and Sharp yet. So my Max and Sharpers, we gonna push them together just yet, man. I mean, it's so close. It's so close with them coming together, man, and I cannot wait until it happens. What else did happen this episode? Because I was just so infatuated with that moment. I'm gonna be 100%. Okay, Dr. Cal, or Dr. Co, however you want to say her name, VJ's, I don't want to say underling, but the doctor that always assisted him in his cases. We see that, you know, she was the interim head of neurology, but now Max made her the official interim head of neurology because this episode highlighted her as well, because all of the stuff that she learned from VJ really helped her and her patient this episode with the blindness and everything. And also they brought in the Asian hate that's going on in America like right now, which all hate is bad, but I mean, let's pray for our Asian brothers and sisters, because I feel like these people that hate these people and are discriminating against these people for no legitimate reason. I'm not saying that all discrimination is bad. Let's just put it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. All discrimination is bad, but these people are getting mistreated for the stupidest reason. But that's another video, man. It was a nice episode for her because all of the things that she learned from VJ really helped her help her patient. And we, like I said, they brought in the Asian hate conflict and problem that's going on in America today, and it was nice. And like I said with the colorism thing, like it wasn't, they didn't beat you over the head with it. They put it out there, they let you know, and they kind of made it kind of knowledgeable, because in case you didn't know, like, it's out there, man. So you can't turn a blind eye because they put it in the news and it's in TV shows. So you can't just say, well, I didn't know, I didn't see it. It's out there. So you can't say that. And I like the way that New Amsterdam handles that, because they put it out there, but they didn't overly beat you over the head with it. They put it out there, they let you know, they put the knowledge on it, and then it was nice and subtle, but at the same time, it was open enough to where you can know and understand what was going on. We also got Bloom this episode dealing with Reynolds, because, you know, Reynolds is back full times, of course. And we see that they're kind of butting heads a little bit in the ED, because Reynolds is used to things in the OR, and it's not the same in the ED. Now, the ER, ED, whatever, emergency department. Yeah, okay. But anyway, it's not the same in the ED as it is in the OR, and he had to get used to that, and Bloom was showing him the ropes. And by the end of the episode, we see that they kind of click back together, and we kind of got the old Bloom and Reynolds back together now, and I'm really enjoying that. But we also see that Bloom actually, I feel like Bloom is becoming a better person, like dealing with her addiction and all the other stuff, man. Like, we're past that now, and Bloom is actually learning something every week, and her and the homeless chick are starting to build a bond. But I love the fact that Casey pointed out that, hey, you really don't know this chick. You need to be finding out some answers, something. You need to know something. Helping her is cool because you feel like you wanted to help her, and I feel like that's something that makes Bloom wonderful, because she's developing so much more as a character. But there's nothing wrong with helping her, but you're like, you need to know more information about her. And I mean, we learned some stuff at the end of this episode. I mean very little. We learned basically nothing. She likes pizza, and, you know, she likes Punjab hip hop or rap. That's not enough to, if somebody told, like, if she went missing, I couldn't tell them nothing. I mean, she likes Punjab rap and Hawaiian pizza with the pineapples. That's it. So, I mean, but it was a nice thing for Bloom to have that friendship, because we kind of got Bloom left out, and I don't know the direction they're trying to go. I don't know, but I mean, we'll see if it takes place. This is your boy, Nick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.
Cannot complain because today, yeah, I'm doing my